Good. Oh, look at that. You want to ring the bell there? You want to hit the bell?
No.
Okay.
You get out of line.
All right. Well, we're already in open, so welcome everybody tonight. Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott. The minutes of the May 8th, 2018 council meeting be approved. All in favor? Okay. Additional items? I got one. Judy has one, I think. Okay. Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councillor Dirksen. The Town of Minto Council convenes in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor? And we have no public meetings. We have one delegation. That's it right here. And our delegation tonight, and I'm really happy to see Chase is here tonight, and thanks for coming. I know it's dragging yourself out to a council meeting, but you got a lot of public out there. A lot of people want to see, and we wanted as a council just to recognize, as we do, all the people that have had great achievements in sporting events over the last year. I've been keeping regular tabs on you because my brother Jim Bridge goes to all your games, and he explains everything to me, and he was going through all the stress that I'm sure you went through too, but for him it was even worse. So I'm just going to read a few of your accomplishments if you'd like to come on up, and then Ron, do you want to come down with me? Sure. Let's get it back.
Watch my course.
Ron, watch it. Strip on you. So I just want to, we're on television. Thousands and thousands of people. We picked up my wife, CNN. We need the mic. Sorry, we need the mic or we're going to be in trouble. So I just want to recognize some of your accomplishments, and this is totally amazing. So you led the team in scoring, 70 points in the regular season on the way to another first place finish with the Midwestern Conference. Chase won the Sportsmanship and Outstanding Ability Award for Midwestern Conference in the GOJHL and was voted the second team All-Star. Chase and teammates successfully defended the Cherry Cup by defeating a familiar foe, Elmira Sugar Kings. That's a good team to beat. I like to beat Elmira anytime we can, and although it's Listowel. With Chase putting up 4 points the deciding game. With their eyes now set on the Sutherland Cup, the Cyclones defeated the London Nationals in the semifinals, with Chase scoring a crucial overtime goal against London in Game 2. In the finals, Chase scored the only 2 goals of the game, Game 3, propelling the Cyclones en route to a 4-game sweep of Caledonia and the Listowel's first ever Sutherland Cup. Congratulations, Chase, and once again on an incredible season. What do you want to
Where's the rest tonight?
Yeah. Okay, good. All set. We're lucky. We're glad to let Listowel you for that.
I got a couple of things I want to say about Chase too. I've known Chase since he's been little, and he's great athlete. He not only successful in hockey, his athletic skills at fastball or anything he ever succeeds in. Chase has got quite a competitor. He's got a drive like you wouldn't believe. Hate to lose, don't you? Love the game. He loves hockey. Loves any kind of sport. And I've known him for years. I think Tyke, you won the silver stick. Was it Tyke? What was that? A novice, and he was part of a silver stick, and I think it was the first silver stick that we brought back to Minto, and that was a fabulous time. At that time, you could see at that time that Chase had the ability to do a lot of things, and I think there's a future for you somewhere in hockey, and good luck with that.
Just like to thank everyone for having me here, and glad to represent the town of Minto.
Awesome. And are you playing ball tonight?
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, and you're with Wellesley? Is they still in the Waterloo League?
We're in the.
Oh, South? Okay.
No, here on Perth, sorry.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, you're in Perth. Okay, well, congratulations. Good luck tonight. Take care. Thanks.
Oh, is there?
What's that jacket on?
Last name.
Oh,
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, that would be for the.
I don't think it's Boyd's. Not Boyd's.
That's what it was.
Humboldt.
Yeah. Okay. What? Oh, public question period. Okay.
That's weird.
Delegations.
Public?
We have the delegation. We missed the public question period right here. No, that's it. Okay, moving right along. Correspondence. And this is a rarity.
Has it
Not only is it a rarity, the press haven't even shown up. But the other rarity is we have no correspondence.
Yeah.
So I have somebody approve the
Nobody loves us.
correspondence. Just for fun?
No.
Okay. Never mind. Never mind.
I've always wanted to prove.
All right. Well, we're so far. It's almost red. Okay. Where are we now? Trees for Minto. Who's doing that? No. Right. Thank you.
Trees for Minto met on May 10th, and we had Paul Frayne come from Norwell District Secondary School. He runs the kelp program and also the new leaf program that's beginning in the fall. And they're going to be helping the Trees for Minto with tree planting, and they're great programs that he's running there at Norwell. As well, the fruit tree sales, we sold out of all of our fruit trees, the apple and the pear. We did advertise it in the paper, and we didn't have very good sales, but we did put it on social media, and they were gone within about 2 hours. An article for release, Jarrett James wrote an article for me to release to the media, which I did, and you read it was a really good article, and I've actually had over 5 calls already in regards to trees, so it was well worth putting it out there, and that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Emily on the trees? Great program. Keeps going.
Yeah.
Motion to accept that? Moved by Councillor Dirksen and Councillor Anderson. All in favor? Who? Sorry, was I throwing you off? Just throwing you off. Okay, Parks and Rec staff reports. Parks and Rec.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. So as PRAC, we met on Monday, May 7th in Palmerston at the clubhouse. Just quickly going over some of the minutes. Grassroots basketball, ball hockey league, and the Triad Sports program have either ended or are coming to an end shortly. We had a great turnout for the ball hockey league this year. We were up to 22 teams, which was nice, ages 5 to 13 across 3 different age groups. Basketball, again, about 20 kids on an average night using Norwell. It's great to have the use of that space, Gym 1 and Gym 2. Triad program, luckily the rain's held off. They're out at Pike Lake tonight trying mini golf and the driving range. And then just some of the programs that are about to start up or have just started. We've got a pickleball going at Harrison Arena on Tuesday, Thursdays. We even got a youth night going on Wednesdays. Outdoor shuffleboard will start in early June. We're looking at doing a youth tennis program with Paul Frayne, busy man. We've got hometown ball, youth slow pitch program that we're going to look at running in Palmerston, as well as our grassroots soccer program, which is we're onto a wait list now. So we're very busy. And then with respect to the pools, registrations are coming in online daily. It's looking like a busy June with training, the Swim to Survive Plus program, and Session 1 group lessons. So as soon as our pools get inspected by the health unit and pass, we'll be full steam ahead. And then just with respect to parks and facilities, we're getting quite busy there as well with indoor and outdoor rentals. We've got our parks department and our facilities department now. Hospital galas this weekend in Harriston, and we've got quite a few big events happening this summer, as was noted in the minutes. We also looked at the strategic plan specific to recreation at our May 7th meeting, and just past the minutes here are some proposed alterations. Nothing major in nature, just some minor revisions. Something that economic development did prior to the end of 2017. We as PRAC looked at the rec initiatives in early May, as mentioned, and then I believe a report covering all these short-term changes will be coming in June from CEO White. And then just finally, with regard to naming rights, it's something as a department we're taking a look at, whether it's corporate or after an individual or an organization. We're just going to look at policies from other municipalities and cities in case we have someone from the public ask about a facility being named, or we so choose to name one. So we want to have a policy in place that covers that.
Questions? Mover and second. Second Faulkner. On Elliott. All in favor? Councillor Elliott?
Just as a little bit of humor, when I first read that, it said under regrets, Councillor Ron Elliott called the meeting to order. Never missed that. Look at the regrets in the report, and then right underneath it, it's Councillor Elliott called. I just found it humorous.
No. The way it's weird.
Yeah.
I think the regrets were on Councillor David Turton.
David Turton and Dorothy Grodnos.
Oh.
I don't think they regretted you calling it to order. I am wrong, but I may be wrong on that.
I like to think our committee members enjoy our meetings. They're only monthly. They're not too bad.
Okay, thanks. And next up, the after-school program.
Next on the dock, it's just a follow-up from a report from late April regarding the after-school program. Just a few things that we've been working on since then is the purchase of fee subsidy with the County of Wellington and becoming High Five registered. Those are things that will be ongoing throughout the summer as we anticipate getting this program up and running in September. The next step in this entire process is to get into that agreement with the board. So it's attached to this agenda, and just under the comments, some things worth noting. We're going to try Palmerston first. If we want to try Middle Clifford, we would have to apply again next February when that RFP comes out. It comes out on an annual basis. So the one that we're looking at signing would be for Palmerston. It would be for up to 3 years, but either party could opt out in June of any calendar year. And the per hour room rate is non-negotiable. So they charge $6 across the board. No pun intended. And then
No, $6 just for the room.
per room, we'd be looking at one room, so it'd be up to $18 a day. And then just with respect to the budgeting,
He's having his own little party over there. I don't know what's going on.
No,
It's
it
the
was-
Tic Tacs.
We
I
need
was
one
just-
room at $6, and it'll.
3 hours.
$3 $18.
Oh, that's
Oh,
per
nobody
hour.
said per hour.
Oh, that's per hour.
Nobody said per
it's
hour.
per hour. That was
Read the report.
Paying no attention there.
yeah. The hourly room rental rate of $6 is non-negotiable.
Okay.
And then, so just with respect to the staffing, there may be a situation where we would have just one person on site. We may be required to have two. Best case scenario, that's because more than 15 kids want to participate in our program, or multiple families want to participate in our program. And in light of that, when it comes to our pricing structure, we did look at a daily rate for multiple kids from the same family, and then a weekly allotment, slightly less, just as a reward for signing someone up for the week. We do this to a large degree of success with our adventure camp program. And again, if you've got say a family of 3, you'd be looking at 27 a day instead of 30, and that does add up over the course of time.
And this program will be subsidized by the county if there's people that couldn't afford that.
That's correct. So that's what the purchase of fee subsidy is all about. So if someone wants to take advantage of our program, but if there's a financial restraint, then that's where the purchase of fee subsidy comes in, and that family can apply to the county for funding to come to our program.
Now, you talked about one person up to 12?
15.
No, up to 15.
Correct.
So if we got 16, then we have to have 2.
2.
Okay, so would we be okay in saying, okay, 15, but in order to have the second person, we need at least 30? I'm talking taxes here and all that.
Yeah, Three Mare Bridge. Wait lists are a possibility, but at the same time, we certainly don't want to turn families away that need this kind of care. One of the things after the agreement's signed that we'll need to do before school's out at the end of June is just get as much information into the schools so they can get into the homes and we can gauge what the interest level is, the true interest level come September. The other thing that we've got going for us is our adventure camp program that runs through July and August. We'll have a chance to get some information to those families as well. And if we can get a ballpark idea of what we might be looking at for registration, that will have an effect on whether we try to find 1 or 2 staff.
So if we get to 16, and we have to have another staff, will one staff being qualified be enough, and that a second staff could be the assistant, sort of like educational assistant?
Yeah. So in a situation where you have 16 or more kids, the first staff person has to be qualified. And in my previous report, you probably saw that's either an ECE or a OCT designation or a degree in social work or recreation and leisure. The second person basically needs to be an adult, so 18 years or older with no criminal record, more or less.
But they would have to have some qualifications.
No, they just need to be 18.
They just need to be 18.
Yeah. So long as that first person has the proper qualifications, just has to be an adult,
So
18 over.
Assistant. And that would go all the way up to 15 people. Like, so if you had 15 and 15.
Yeah, 30
So
is the
that second
maximum
person.
that you can that you can take in registrations per
Actually, you
day.
just have to have one qualified person.
That's correct.
And I think the other big thing is we heard it already with Trees for Minto, the social media that we have. We have amazing social media, and we can get that out of social media, and that's where most of the people that we're trying to attract will be seeing it. So I have no problem. I don't think for us to get 15, we might have a situation we have to go over that, which would be a good news story. The only time when really it's going to cost the town money is if all of a sudden we only get like 5 or 6 sign up, and then we're in it for a year until we build it up. But I'm fairly confident that's not going to happen. But if that happens, I guess you have to take that plunge.
Yep.
And that's what Matt's with his report is saying. But I feel that it's a necessary need. I know we've talked about it, economic development. This is part of what economic development's all about.
Yep.
With the new childcare program there, and there's some issues there, but we're working on that for the smaller kids. But I think this just nicely goes into our youth programming that we've all talked about. Make sure our youth have a good opportunity to grow.
Through you, Mayor Bridge, I've just had a couple of people approach me, kind of disappointed the Clifford Minto isn't being offered. Is it maybe a year down the road if all goes well in Palmerston, or would it be 3 years?
I'd like to see it myself next year, and Clifford, if we get a template here going.
Okay.
Councillor Caldwell, and I just think that for us to take on both at the same time might have been a little too much.
I agree.
And technically, Clifford had less take up on it, although it was only like it was 8 and 4 or something. But again, I don't think it was well publicized. It's not the way it is. But I've had that same concern. I've had a few people come to me and say, "Well, how come Palmerston's getting it?" It's like anything else. We have to start somewhere, and that's a little bit more because of.
But I just had hoped that we could give them some information. Like if all goes well, it could just be a year away.
Well, it's up to the councils, but I think that's where I thought this should go. It should be the next one in Minto.
That's certainly something that we can bring come January when the RFP comes out again for the
We'll have a good
2019-2020 school
yeah.
year.
Okay.
We'll have a few months to see how it's running
Yep.
and
Right.
how it's going.
Yeah, we'll be 4 months in by that time.
Any other questions for Matt? If somebody, Council Caldwell, Anderson, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your hard work on that, Matt. I know it's been a great negotiating with the school board. Well, I guess not negotiating because they don't negotiate, but anyways.
It's definitely been a good learning experience.
a good learning experience.
Thanks.
Sure, you got it for $575.
All right. Economic development. This is a late entry.
Late entry.
Yeah, okay. Annalee's taking it for this one. But it's very important.
It is very important, yeah. So I'm not sure how much time you've had to read this report, but you all know Gabby Aropoli, our community youth resiliency worker. She was with the family health team through the Trillium Grant since 2016 and has been doing great work with North for Youth, as well as assisting with our youth action councils and, you know, the amazing stuff that they're doing. I did attach Gabby's report that she gave to you previously just to refresh on the number of things that they've accomplished. And back in November, when we had our joint economic development meeting in Mapleton, it was very clear that all councils were very impressed with the work that had been done by Gabby and the youth groups and wanted to see that continue. So since that point, the three municipalities, as well as the family health team, have been meeting, trying to figure out how we're going to sustain the position. We did apply for a GROW grant through Trillium. Unfortunately, that was not successful. And as a result, we put this memo of understanding together, and it is requiring each municipality, as well as the family health team, to put in $13,000. So last year, we were able to apply for our BR&E funding for $5,000, and that got us through till this point. And we knew then that we would need to have another $8,000 to sustain this for the rest of the year. So basically $13,000 a year. And this has already been budgeted because we knew this would be coming. And this really is just putting into formal, just we need a staff signature to sign in just to inform council of what we're doing. So this will ensure that Gabby's here at least until March 2019. And then we'll review again if things are going well, then keep going potentially. And you'll see as an attachment are some of the projects that we have Gabby working on. The change from before is that the family health team was really directing her on their own. This is like we're all directing her. So she'll be working 1 day a week in each center. So I think it's Mondays at the family health team, Tuesdays in Mapleton, Wednesdays in Minto, and Thursdays in Wellington North. And in our case, she'll be working out of Wanchit, which will be nice because that's the youth home here in Minto. And yeah, we have some different projects. We've taken out some of the work or removed, limited, I guess, some of the work that she's been doing more family health team wise and added some things that are more economic development based, specifically around youth entrepreneurship initiatives, working with the schools to develop a youth action plan or strategic plan, helping tailor. There is a lot of work involved with the youth action councils, so getting some of that admin work off her plate, such as taking the minutes and preparing the agendas and stuff like that. But everyone knows the great, amazing work that the youth action councils are doing, and we just want to keep that momentum going. So this is just to let you know that we're doing that and authorize us to sign the memo of understanding.
Ron and then Gene. Question. Sure.
Are the groups in Wellington North and Mapleton similar size to the Minto group?
We definitely have the largest youth action council, probably in the province, from what I'm hearing.
Wow.
When I presented at PRO in Collingwood, the communities that were actually presenting on youth action councils had 3 and 4 members. We are like getting close to 20, and we've been asked now, like Taylor and Gabby, been asked to go and present next year or at the MBA forum that they usually attend about youth action councils. So like, I am so proud of the work that they're doing because really there wasn't a lot to go on. Usually you have some things you can mimic, and now people are mimicking their programs off of us. So kudos to Gabby and Taylor and Megan, who's our adult ally. They're doing great work.
Well, I don't know. Jean might ask
Okay.
Jean if she
Ask
wants to
Jean,
go
go
first.
Go for it.
I was just going to make the motion and just say I'm endlessly impressed with the
Okay.
work this group is doing.
Then I just have one follow-up, and I agree. Fantastic work. So the County of Wellington is a partner with this. Are there groups in all of the 7 municipalities in Wellington?
So last year, we used our BRNE funding. So the County of Wellington has their $25,000 pot of funding that each municipality can apply for. So we had put 15 to launch it, 5 to our secondary plans, and we had 5 left over, and we decided to put it towards the youth. This year, we're putting it towards launch it. So the county won't be funding it necessarily.
Oh, just the partner through BNR. Okay, thank you.
And just a little update on that. We've been trying to get in front of the grade 7 and 8s because in any program you want to keep feeding the system. And so tomorrow, they phoned us today and said we can do it tomorrow. So we managed to sneak it in between those 3 meetings we've got tomorrow. But Gabby, myself, and Taylor are going to make a presentation, the youth group presentation to 7 and 8s and try to sign some more up. Because that's we found when we went that route the last time. That's why now we've got 9 and 10s because they started early. They got into it. They got into the fun of it and everything else before they got to high school and everybody was like, oh well, you want to get involved, right? So I think that's important. So we're doing, I think, Palmerston tomorrow and Minto Clifford when we get a chance.
Yeah, and just a shout out on Mr. Frayne at Norwell and youth. Today, the KELP class, the grade 10 KELP class, was downtown Palmerston cleaning windows and sweeping stores. And we got some amazing shots of them all smiling and cheery up on each other's shoulders, washing windows. Yeah, and next Monday, they'll be in Harriston. So I just want to thank them and all the work that they're doing to help the downtowns as well. He's doing a great job, and those kids we have great youth here in Minto. So thank you for supporting these continued efforts.
Thank you. Okay. And moved by Jean and seconded by Mayor Faulkner. All in favor? Very good. Excellent. The assistant building.
Yes.
Just the building assistant. See, you demoted.
Oh. Again.
All right.
So I let Michelle go home, and I
nice,
figured I would take this on. I was here anyways. Council will recall a couple of months ago that they approved a recommendation in support of the severance application. This is for Curson on the 7th line in Minto. At Land Division, this application actually got deferred. The concern that Land Division had was taking up a portion of cultivated land. So in the picture that's on the screen, the bottom left-hand corner. Another concern that Land Division, had was the size of the barn and the fact that the applicant wanted to retain the entire barn. And the third thing that actually came in light of at that meeting is right to the right-hand side of that barn, that circular object is actually a liquid manure tank with a concrete lid that no one was aware of. So they had concerns about it being retained as well. In discussion with the applicant and the planners at the county, they opted to revise the lot line slightly to decrease the property down from 3.6 acres to 2.98 acres. They accomplished this by, instead of squaring off that bottom left-hand corner, they put it on a 45 to keep more farmland with the farm. And there's an addition on the back of the barn that the applicant said wasn't in great shape and could come down. So he's going to knock that down. And he's got small children on his own and was going to fill in the liquid manure tank anyway. So as such, the planners asked us to revise our recommendation. So for the most part, the recommendation is the same as approved before. So financial or otherwise is the first condition. Mike's drainage assessment schedule is staying the same, as well as his access to the property. The fourth bullet point up there is that the buildings comply with the zoning bylaw, so they will have to come back for a rezoning application to council here. The fifth bullet point is that we ensure that the liquid manure tank is actually decommissioned, so it could be totally removed or just filled in. And that the sixth one is that the applicant obtain a change of use permit, converting the barn from a current barn to just a storage facility. not to be used for commercial or industrial uses. And that's pretty much what we have. So our recommendation is council approve this report, and we'll forward it on to Land Division.
Any questions? Motion to accept. Councillor Elliott. All in favor? Good.
Excellent.
I see. It's funny how that if you look at the picture, the squaring off is also where the little grass is. So I guess that was always farmland. Or so.
It ironically, until the former owner's children took over the property, it was all overgrown, and it was piles and equipment and stuff like that. So they converted it to tillable land, and so now they have to maintain
so they
it
left
as
it
such.
alone. Nobody would have bothered.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's better. Let's go back to farmland.
Oh, for sure. Yep. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Linda. There's an emergency. Well, Linda, we had that ice storm the other day, and when it was 20 degrees, that was a lot.
I know. Wasn't that wonderful?
Hard time getting into it.
Yes, and I apologize for making everybody work so hard. That was not our intent, but anyway, a lot of good stuff came out of it. So thank you all for participating. All staff.
We picked up a few
Appreciate it.
things that we want to look at.
Okay, so report number 1 is on the wireless public alerting, and both reports are just for information. My apologies, it's probably a little behind the times here with this report, given that the testing was done back on May 7th. But I just wanted to still give it to you, give you some history of how it came to be with respect to wireless services accessing the Ready Alert system. I think overall it's a good thing. Some challenges with the May 7th test, but that's why we do them, to get those things sorted out ahead of time, and I think we've all experienced that. So just for information, and if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer those.
So the Blackberries don't work.
No.
Nothing worked on mine.
If you have a newer one, mine didn't work, but I have a dinosaur. So there's a few things with respect to the technology piece with it. And if you go on the website, but you have to be within an LTE network. And then the older phones don't have the technological capability in them to access this. But anybody, if you're upgrading now, that won't be an issue.
So these are for like province-wide stuff or whatever.
Yes. Well,
can we use it for say a
yes.
flood or anything?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we've got along with that from the province is we've got a set of procedures on how to contact them, because it's a federal alerting program, which the provinces administer. They've given us the procedures to contact them, and they send out the alert. And those have been put into all of the EOC procedures.
It's be interesting because we're having our flood meeting on the 29th.
Yes.
It'd be nice to know is that like another way of communicating? I know a lot
will
of
make
people.
a note of that and put that in one of our presentations.
Okay, any questions on that? Oh, sorry.
Want to verify, they do Amber Alerts as well on this one.
Oh, yeah.
That's yes.
Yes.
And we were.
Idea.
Yeah, I was in Mapleton this afternoon, and they said that many of them got an Amber Alert a couple of days after the test. So.
Well, that was up from Thunder Bay.
Yes,
I was beside somebody when I got it.
So.
I wasn't lying.
It came on our TV, but it didn't come on my phone.
Yeah.
I get those
So
just through the weather
it could be your phone, or it'd still be bugs that they're working out. But yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
That's it. Motion. Moved by Mayor Faulkner, second by Councilor Anderson. All in favor? Good.
I have one more for you.
You have one more report?
I have one more. Very quick. Just to update, because I've talked about it in the past, the review that the province has been going through with respect to emergency management. 52 recommendations that came out, a number of reports that they looked at. Just to add to this, there are a number of things in those 52 recommendations that are very much provincial based, and the province is working on those internally. But anything that's with respect to decisions from a municipal perspective, or such as in item 3 with respect to the legislation, all of those are on hold for now until after the election. We're hoping that they still move forward on it, because I think there's some good changes coming through, particularly for the legislation needs an overhaul. So we're hopeful, but we'll have to wait and see.
Questions? We can move that. Councilor Elliott. Dirksen, all in favor? She's kind of slow today. Like she's not putting her hand up. I don't know what she's not looking at me either. I don't know. Thank you. Deputy Clerk, Joint Compliance.
The report I'm bringing forward to you tonight is on the Joint Compliance Audit Committee. Of course, we already do have one for the previous term, 2014 to 2018, and we will have to have another one. Also with Bill 68 and the changes, you definitely have to have it. We go together with all the other municipalities within Wellington County. To be able to do this, we have some of the clerks or deputy clerks get together to interview as well. It seems to work very well to do it this way. A big change this term will be that the clerks will have to review all the financial information that comes in for candidates for the election. And if they find that there is an issue, they will have to send it to the Compliance Audit Committee. We are also offering them $125 per meeting. So it all depends. I mean, it could cost us absolutely nothing, or it could cost us a whole bunch, right? You don't know until you get to that time. We're also going to share the advertising costs with the other municipalities. So it's going to be about $300 each in order to advertise for committee members.
Questions?
Good report.
Good report. Yeah.
Very good report.
Thanks.
Explained everything.
Yeah.
I'll move it.
I'm here.
Here, Mary Lou and Judy, all in favor? Good. He's here now. I'll turn it over to you there, Councillor Caldwell, to take on the accounts.
Okay, and the Finance Committee only has one item on the agenda, and it's the Treasurer's approval of accounts. I'll turn it over to Treasurer Duff, please.
All right, thanks, Chair Caldwell. So, actually not that much on there. Admin at 401, well, 261 of that is not technically an accounting expenditure. It's regarding the drawdown of a security. It's one that goes back a few years, south end of John Street in Harrison. So originally the town received $311,000 as security, that certain works would be done, and their engineers now estimate that the unfinished part is only $50,000, so we're paying down $261,000 of that. So that's on the Wellingdale project there. And we have some more community gardens work, setting up some more boxes. I think we've had a very good response this year, so only $1,400 there, and $1,500 for that project. And firefighting uniforms about $4,700. Other than that, relatively routine. And
anyone have any questions? No, then the recommendation is that Council approves the Town of Minto Accounts by Department for April and May 2018. Mayor Bridge, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, all in favor. And the motion is passed, and I turn the chair back to you, Mayor Bridge.
And I guess I'll just keep it going because our illustrious chair is not here. Catching some fish somewhere. Okay. We have the road department. Mike.
Okay, so the first item up tonight is for a temporary all-way stop at the intersection of Aurora and Park for the construction of the connecting link up there in Clifford. Triton submitted multiple designs for the controls at that intersection for the construction up there in Clifford. And this is the design that the MTO has approved for right now, as just the temporary stop sign in place on the highway itself. We need we did need the bylaw in place before we can have that installed for Tuesday. Do you have any questions with that one?
So that's going to be a three-way stop?
It'll be a all-way stop. So we probably will install the signs for both ways on Aurora Street. Even though that the construction site is closed, there will be construction vehicle movements and even the local traffic from within exiting from time to time. So just so we're covering all the bases there.
Try to get people into gemstones, they'll still have to come back over on.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that legally would have to be a flagman regardless of whether there's
Yeah.
stop sign. That's
During-
why I thought you meant.
Yeah. But during construction, that's fine while
Okay.
they're there, but it's after hours
Yep.
where the concern
Yep.
is. Yeah.
If it's 3 o'clock on a Friday, they're not going to be working.
So there will be a bylaw coming forth yet tonight.
And one thing that I did mention to Paul on this was similar to what happened in Harrison when we had Arthur Street. And
Yeah.
you may have to look at something on a Sunday night or something, maybe have like a paid duty to
Officer, yeah.
or Friday night paid duty to do a little bit of
Yeah.
traffic control there
Yeah.
because it could get a little bit
Yeah.
wild.
This is just giving it open up options for us during that time period.
Friday night and
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, those are 2. Yeah. Anyways, but we'll play it by ear and hopefully everything will go well. And
Hopefully.
the last rain we just had the last rain for a while.
For the weekend, anyway.
For the weekend. Okay. Some motion to accept that. Are you making a motion there?
I said a second. That's what I meant to say.
Councilor Anderson and Councilor Elliott, all in favor. He was coughing, I guess. Next up.
Get it out my nose.
Okay, the next item is the tender for the sidewalk replacement for this year. As you can see in the report, some of the locations that were found from the previous sidewalk inspection have been laid out for replacement. We only had the one submission. It was from Reese Construction, who did the project for us last year. As for a comparison, dollar figure wise, it's only $1 more per meter than last year. And with the second submission last year was $104 still. So you can see that we are still getting good value for our dollars, that's for sure. Okay, and with what was tendered there, we're only using 75,000 out of the 125 as budgeted, which leaves us open for more, which we're currently doing our annual sidewalk inspections right now. So if there is other major areas that need to be done, we'll have them addressed and even look at other areas to maximize that for this year.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions on the sidewalk? Good. Mayor Faulkner, Councilor Caldwell, all in favor?
Okay. So then the final item, well, I guess, no, it's not the final item.
Nope, not
the
final.
next item is the results from our truck tenders. So I've combined the 2 truck tenders into one report here. The one tender was for the 2 replacement pickup trucks for the water department. And then the other one was for the new 550, which was in place of the other 3 trucks in our fleet, a smaller dump truck, which will be better utilized. And those are just a picture of the attachments and the different boxes that are coming with that truck.
Oh wow!
And it's the same situation. There's only the one submission from Leslie Motors. And cost comparison is the same as the sidewalk. Is very comparable to last year's price and even 2 years ago. So it's very comparable that way. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, just I didn't realize the attachments.
Yeah.
What that's
Yeah.
4 different ones, 3 different ones.
So what it is the dump box itself, and then we have the dump box with a coal patch bin
You bet.
underneath it, and then there's actually a container, like a box that can go over top for chipping wood chips or for the leaves, and the leaf suck or the vacuum attachment is shown there as well.
So,
and so when we tender that, Leslie's get
the whole thing.
They do the whole thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, all the
That's pretty cool.
attachments and everything.
Good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Just a quick question. Just to clarify, these
Yeah.
are replacement trucks. They're not additional trucks.
They're replacement.
And-
So that the pickups are replacing 2 current ones,
Hmm.
and then the 550 is in place of 3 of our other trucks.
So
Okay.
instead of replacing all three, we're only replacing.
In our truck policy, how long do we hold a pickup truck?
So a pickup truck in there right now is 5 years for the 150s, and the 250s that are in the fleet are 4 years with the Public Works Department, but then they go to the Rec Department for an additional 3, so they're up to 7 years.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a good point that.
Well, we get that question.
Yeah,
Let's
this one with all the attachments
Mhm.
is replacing 3 trucks.
Yeah.
Because we had that report earlier on. And go ahead, Ron. Did you have a question?
Yeah,
first?
just I see the leaf sucker. Are we planning on doing some
We
sidewalk
hope to.
leaf like?
Yes. So in previous years, the optimal time to do that was during when it was wet, so they weren't blowing all over the place when they were out there. So this gives us the capability of doing it whether it's wet or in a drier season, just to try to stay on top of.
So people will
downtown areas.
can rake to the curb and you guys sucking it up, or what's
Well,
the plan?
we don't want to advertise that
Okay.
yet.
I just that's,
'Cause it
I
all
get that
depends-
I get that a lot. You know that. So
It all depends on the season and what is prioritized
and
for that season.
who can move leaves and who can't move leaves.
Yeah.
Sometimes senior person can't get the leaves.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right, Ron. What we wanted to do, this gives us some capability. Before we had to wait till they got wet,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is not good because they'll get down our catch basements and everything else, and we had to clean them out.
Yeah.
So this was when we had the original report of what this truck was going to look like. I was excited about that particular piece of equipment that we might be able to get at those dry leaves first while they're still dry and easy to pick up.
And even the cemeteries too. That's another one. There's lots of leaves in the cemeteries, and that's one spot that either the contractor ourselves don't have that chance necessarily in the fall to get in and do a decent job of that too. So
I think it's great.
yeah.
So just for my clarity too, I see in the price drop down, we're trading in the first 2 trucks,
Yes.
but then we're selling at auction the 3 that.
The
And
other
what are
3.
those 3 that we're replacing
So
with this?
we have a tandem axle plow truck is the 1 unit, single axle just straight dump truck, and then we have a single axle plow truck as well.
Okay. Not that we're
Yeah.
questioning what you're doing,
Yeah.
but there seems to be
Yeah.
an inordinate amount of attention paid on the town trucks.
Yeah.
Everybody sees them and they'll notice right away that there are new ones, so they'll be
Yeah.
asking us questions.
Well, this was all part of that experiment we had and how we were going to do snow removal. Remember we
Right,
talked
yep.
about and so obviously it's worked
It's
out.
just for clarity for us.
We wanted to make
because
sure
it is a hot item out there.
It is,
For whatever
it is.
reason.
Yeah. Okay. Did somebody move that?
Sure.
Mayor Faulkner, Councilor Elliott, all in favor? Good. And I'm excited about this report.
Wow.
The Public Works accomplishments for 2017.
So I was wondering,
Bring the crew up. Yeah, I
Bring
think
them
the
all.
whole crew.
Sure.
How do you want to do it? You guys.
Bring another chair.
We'll get out of the way so we're not in front of the.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a
Yes,
bird?
you got to be out there for your public.
Well, I ring the bell.
I was gonna
Here we
say.
are.
I'll start.
Lunchtime.
I'll start instead.
You're going to do the overall structure then, Mike, and then move
Yeah,
it through.
I'll start with the roads department.
Sure.
You get to stand.
I love the picture of the truck. Yeah.
From cars.
Okay, so I guess the public works structure itself hasn't changed very much since last season. We do have Connor Bailey off on parental leave, which Kyle Brooking is in place as the contract position there. And in the roads department, we are short one right now, but we've actually just finished up with the ad in the paper and have currently made an offer to Nathaniel McGregor Harris from Hanover for that position. That's it. Okay. This is just some construction scenes that you'll see throughout the year. This is the 16th line paving project that we did. And then we did the 3 streets in the towns and then the Clifford Arena parking lot as well. This is just some random asphalt patch.
Yeah.
Heavy on the continuous.
Cool. And then this is just showing some of the new tactile plates installed in some of the existing sidewalk areas, and then some of the new ones as well. Just some bridge sweeping there. And then some of the unexpected events that we've seen with the fire, the flood, and microburst, I guess it was, out there on the Minto and Northern Town line last year. And then this is one of the cross culverts on the line that we lost during the flood. And then the next slide just shows the kind of the finished product after it was done. This is one of our decorative light standards that was hit during a traffic accident last summer. And then the installation of the PXO there in Palmerston at the main street lights, which is almost done. We're just waiting on the wiring to be completed, and then the audio or the audible will be up and running. This just shows the unexpected hazards that we're continuously uncovering throughout the urban and rural areas. And then this is showing the new purchase of the boom flail mower, which is going to help out with maintaining some of the other areas out there. This is a picture of the roadway in the Harrison Cemetery being constructed. And then that's just the new backhoe that we got last year, which is on the float of the counties, taking it to the annual truck rodeo with the county host. Oh, then TLC. Okay, that's still me. So this was the TLC team for 2017. Yep. Some of the 150.
Maybe name those three because.
Yep. So Paul Judge, Jess Statman, and Elise Roth on the right-hand side. Then the Canada 150 tulips that were put in place in different locations. And then some more of the Canada 150 decorations.
I saw somebody picking tulips.
Really?
Yep, smelling them and walking away. How wonderful they were, and taking them home. I yelled, they didn't hear me. Please don't pick flowers.
No, that's fine. This is just more of the designs that Paul's constructed over the year. Yeah, and then the flower, the town entrance signs being constructed, the community gardens in Palmerston. And then this is the completion, the results of those gardens in Palmerston. And then this was the result of the Communities in Blooms, 5 leaves silver.
There's only one higher.
Yeah, there's only one higher, yeah.
All right, and then we got the wastewater department here now. This is the Harrison Lagoon, some early morning pictures.
When the guys usually, that's when you do most of your fishing out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not going to build a cottage.
Trying to make them look good, eh?
Yeah.
Lovely shots.
This is a picture of the lagoon when it's full in late summer, and then empty in the early spring. I just wanted to put that in there just to show it is a lot of work and takes a lot of time for our operators to discharge that water. They have to take a lab every day, sample it, and then do a calculation against the river flow. So it's fairly in-depth
How long does
procedure.
that take you, Mark, to do?
About an hour every morning.
But how long does it take to get it down? Like how many?
And yeah, what is the height difference?
It's all dependent on river flow. So if the river is low, then we have to do it more
so
consecutive
when you get
days.
Rain
but
or something.
Yeah, about 100 days.
100 days.
Oh, wow. Really well.
A lot of work. Yeah, I never knew that. I never realized that. Good, that's good information.
Yep. So then, still in the Harrison Lagoon, we did a bunch of berm maintenance this year. That's important. If you have a tree growing on the side of the berm, and it was to uproot, that could cause a berm failure. That wouldn't be good.
Using that new machine for any of that? What
attachment on the
flailer?
Yep.
Whatever we can reach,
Yeah, good. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we had an in-house pilot project that we were that we're currently running, trying to achieve some denitrification to remove ammonia. We don't have any real results yet, but we're hoping to get some soon. This is the final blower to be installed in the Hairston Lagoon lower building, so we're done buying those for now. Moving to William Street. This is pump 1. It was in the capital budget. We replaced it, and then we also had pump 3. The motor burnt out on it, so we had to replace it. Check valves. We replaced 3 check valves in the William Street location. That was the purpose of that was to reduce double pumping. We were having lots of flow leak back into the station. We were having to pump that twice, so it's running a fair bit more efficiently. We did some similar repairs at the Robertson Street sewage pumping station. And then obviously we had some electrical problems at the Young Street sewage pumping station. After the floods, we had to get those repaired. And I put this in. This is the Clifford Lagoon. I just thought it would give you guys a good representation.
Just on the Young Street one, Mark, have we now made it so it's a lot higher, right?
Yeah, so we've elevated all that electrical equipment now. So if it hits that same level, it won't be.
We won't have the
damaged
same
again.
concern. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just put this. This is moving on to the Clifford Lagoon. I put this in just to give council an idea of how large the Clifford Lagoon actually is. And it's a pretty remarkable system. It produces very good effluent.
Built for the future.
We did have an algae bloom problem in cell 3 this past year. We used some chlorine to treat that. Bottom right-hand picture, that's the filter beds. When we took over the lagoon operations from our previous contractors, these filter beds were in pretty rough shape with trees and shrubs and bushes and everything growing up in them. So we spent a lot of time and effort cleaning those out and getting them back operating at full capacity. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, we got the new SCADA system. It's up and running now. And it's proven to be very useful. And there's just another shot of the filter beds. We worked in conjunction.
Leave that, Mark. The SCADA system's all 3.
Just that one was just for Clifford.
Just for Clifford.
Yeah.
Okay.
We worked in tandem with the roads department. We kind of piggybacked on top of them and got some maintenance gravel on the roadways in Clifford to bring them up to standard. And we also did a major cleanup of the pre-aeration. It was overgrown, and we cleaned it up as well. Moving on to Palmerston, a couple more shots. We did an LED light upgrade, switching from T12s to LEDs. We had to replace a return pump in the basement there. It had some seals go on it. This is Todd Cowan. He's rebuilding a blower. He tore it apart, fixed it up, and put it back in service. And this is one of the dirty jobs I got a picture of. Mike Doucette down in the hole.
They get bonus pay for that? Something.
Yeah, that's not one you want.
No.
Free shower.
Yeah.
That's good. Who provides the soap?
The Palmerston wastewater treatment plant is keeping up to date with all of our lab equipment, so we're getting accurate results. Here's the guys. They're just out in the storm sewer system making some repairs. And the sanitary system, some new installs, using all of our safety equipment, the new service truck. And then the ongoing training. We're lucky enough to keep our resources through Center Wellington. We've been doing some on-the-job training back and forth with them. I think it's good for all.
At the Elora plant?
Yeah. Yep, good for their operators. They come up and look at our lagoon systems and get some hands-on training with that, and we go up and get some training at the bigger facilities.
Good. Any questions? You know, Mark, how long has it been now that we've been running it? 3 years now?
Yep, 3 years.
You know, just looking at that and looking at Clifford, the way that we've cleaned it up, those are things that when you have a contracted system, it never gets done. I give you a lot of credit. Your guys are really on top of it, and I know you're constantly looking for those little improvements to make the system run better, and I think that preventive maintenance will pay us dividends going forward. So that was good work.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Wayne's next. No, we got water. I'm not letting Wayne's there. He's watering it up here.
Okay, in the water department, upon all our regular stuff that we do with our audits, inspections, locates, sampling, all that stuff. Last year we had passed the bulk water station, so this is the bright water setup that they had last year, which they only used about 81 cubic meters, so about $355 of revenue. And then we had one other one, what was the grass company who was putting sod in, that was about $290 there. After the flood, we relocated the SCADA system to the shack behind us, so that way we don't have to.
I mean, the quality building you have to what you live in.
Yeah. Well, the girls have different names for it. I didn't want to touch on that one. Anyway, so we moved that, so we no longer have to do that. We had to move it during the time. So now it's secured here, and we're just in the final stages of waiting on a transfer switch here that will have this building will automatically come on when the power goes off. So the SCADA will be that, plus the benefits here for the sub pumps and everything else. Last year we did Minto Pines video logging, pulled the well and inspections, and cleaned the casing at Minto Pines. Had it out of service. That's where we used, you can see the little pump there, which fed from a whitewater tankard, and that's what supplied the water to the residents of Minto Pines. Here I just had a picture of Todd, so he was operating the valve that day. I took it. So we do our regular valve operation maintenance. We do all the towns over 3 years, so just a picture of that. Here's one of the main breaks that it doesn't really look like a main break, but this one here will get the guys all credit. We had to take and put 2-foot holes in back down because the water had got into a storm system, so we were backing holes to find out where, and then we had to isolate it. And because of the hill, it just followed gravity, so we were able to finally find out where the leak was and then make the big hole to fix it. So kind of just that little different process. And just some small upgrades there. The well 2 in Harrison, we put a new disconnect in because the other one was getting in pretty bad shape, and that's our first VFD that we've installed in one of our wells. So we're going to look at doing that in the future. And then we had to place the electric heater at well 2 also in Palmerston. And basically that's all I put in there for
Good
this
job,
last
guys.
year.
Well done.
Good job, yeah.
So
Move to yes, your question, or do you
I
want?
have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Just a simple little question. The crossing light in Palmerston, it was flashing bright yellow last night. Do they trigger that?
Yes.
Okay, so when they push it, it's because we're going, what's going on in town?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's got whatever, I think it's set up for, let's say, 38 seconds.
Okay, all right. Just, we hadn't seen that. And then just as a comment, I know you guys get lots of flack and lots of grief, but from my perspective, whether I'm a counselor or a citizen, you guys do a great job. We see you out there I wouldn't do some of those jobs. We see you out there, and I've seen you like when the dialysis unit, and you guys were out there getting us water, and I'm going, oh my. It was a nasty, nasty day. Whatever is going on, you guys are out there. And we recognize it and appreciate it, because I know sometimes you probably feel unappreciated because it's never enough, like the continuous road patching. It's out there, but we do recognize, at least we do, what you guys do and what you go through. And thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving it.
I have a question too, or a comment or something. I was going to say some of what Councillor Anderson said, but she did much more eloquently than I. I did have an analogy, though, that I threw by somebody the other day. Really, the town of Minto is like a huge, huge house with a lot of rooms. And it's really, really hard to have all the rooms looking presentable all at the same time. I don't know, maybe some of you have a house like that, but I sure don't.
No.
And kudos to our guys that do look after our town so well. I did want to mention about the cemeteries. I had my first call today about the cemeteries, other than the email last week. But I don't know. I just I guess I feel like maybe we need to look at whether there's a way that we could do our own grass cutting, our own maintenance in there. I just feel like I know that would put some of those complaints, because some of it is impossible to not do 100% for sure. Wait, it's too many negatives. Some of it is impossible to do 100% all the time. That's what I mean. But I just feel that we would maybe care a little more than a contractor does. So I know we can't do that for this year, but wondering if maybe it's something that could be thought about. I'm just planting a seed right now. So
You want to talk about Mike a little bit, because I know there was some. I had asked you about the cemetery. It's people sometimes have to realize that the weather doesn't always cooperate either.
Oh, I realize that.
I can't cut my grass today. I should have, but
it is one of the hardest
for sure
things to do. I've actually cut grass as a contractor, and I have actually cut grass as a contractor and as a town employee. So I've done it from both sides of the coin.
Sure.
And really, the results as an employee, like from a contractor, you want to get in and get out as fast as you can. And even as a town employee, it's one of those. It's a monotonous job too, going around all those stones. So sometimes you want to get in and get out. There is, like, we could do a cost analogy on doing it both ways and bring that to council for a future council to make that decision. It is quite an expense to do it on our own in comparison to a contractor. Like, what is it? I think for to cut the grass in Harrison, it's only $800 a cut. And I know one of our previous employees used to spend a whole week in there just cutting the grass. That's not trimming. So for $800,
plus we had to have the equipment.
And plus the equipment, the overhead, and everything
I know.
else.
So,
it's tough.
in fairness, and I know what Julie's saying, because I get the calls, and we all get the calls. But what I know, Mike and his crew try to monitor as much as they can. I know we ran into, and Annalene, thank you for your comments back, because we didn't have to comment back, but I know on that other memo, it's bad. Sometimes we're getting in situations we can't get in there. I talked about whether our parks got cut last weekend.
Yeah.
The guys, depending on the weather, where we at, but we'll monitor them. And if you know what, if in my own personal opinion, maybe $800 isn't enough.
Well, and
then maybe it's like you get what you pay for.
Yeah, we maybe need
Judy,
to change the expectation or something.
Yeah, and maybe work on more of an expectation, and maybe add a couple more things to the contract.
The RFP.
Yeah, the RFP, to make sure that the person that's doing it, in fairness, can do it reasonably well and still make some kind of profit.
Yeah.
But at the same token, do it better.
Yeah.
So that's maybe something we can look at.
I live next to the park, so I see that all the time, and Culps do it now. Mm-hmm. And I watch them come in with two girls with weed eaters, and they're going at it like crazy. They're a really good group, and if for years I saw people come and go, and I think the Culps do actually care about what they're doing. Believe we got a lot more grass than a lot of them expect to do, and it's hard for them. They want to get done with Palmerston Park, which is 17 acres or something, and then do the ballparks all over the place, and back over to Harrison where they've got other stuff to do, and try to get it all jammed in 1 week. And if it rains twice, whoops, we didn't get one of the communities done. I think it's a really difficult situation.
It is.
That maybe we should be upping our fees.
Well, I'd rather see us maybe look
so
at
they
that
can get
than
another
trying to
tractor,
do
a couple more employees, and put them in.
So we can look at some of that, but
Yeah.
this budget is sort of set, and we've got a contract. We'll have to go after to make sure that they're doing the best they can under the contract.
Yes.
But yeah, watching it and doing what we can. This spring was really tough again to get into the cemeteries. I said to Mike, we had situations where we were doing internments. I said maybe we should just say no until we're totally ready. But then that's not good to the families either. So sometimes we cause ourselves our own problems by trying to be accommodating as best we can and knowing that they're not perfectly. I mean, and you have to remember, we got tons of, how much money we got sitting around, Gord, but it's all capital, but we only can use the interest for cemetery
I had
perpetual
to
care.
look at that. It's a little over 500,000, and every year we invest more and get a lower rate, although it's safe. It's a challenge. Like there's no way in our interest in that we transfer over $12,000. Well, that's a fraction of cemetery operators.
So I think our cemeteries, and Mary, I don't know if you remember, but it was like $40 or $50,000 was our budget over and above what we get off our interest. And I think people don't maybe forget that. They think because, and in the old days when you're getting 5 or 6, 7%, they pretty well covered it up for our 500,000. But we're not in that situation.
That's
so,
how it's set up.
but at the end of the day, it's service and it's where you find the money to do it. So maybe we should look at that a little bit. Maybe there's an extra cut every now and again or whatever. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's something that we have to look at. But I know you, Mike, and I know you take pride in it. And you're out there and you check it, and I know you get upset when it doesn't get done. But sometimes it's nature that causes the problem.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns that happen along the way.
I wonder even if we get out on our social media maybe and say, sorry about the parks this week. They got some of it done. They didn't get. Maybe we should be more forthcoming and just saying, this is what's happened. Because if somebody sits back and says to themselves, did I cut my grass this week when I wanted to because I had 2 days of rain? Probably not. They're in the same boat I am. Yeah. My neighbors are going to be mad at my crop of dandelions because somehow they don't have them. I don't know how that happens.
You're just feeding the bees.
I'm being the beast. Anyways, but I couldn't cut it today.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's where we're at. But good point, Judy, and I think we'll keep an eye on it as best we can.
Yep.
You guys all do a great job.
Thank you.
And we got some great plans for the cemeteries if we can get them rolling. We've got some money we're investing in cemeteries.
Yes, we hope to have something soon.
I'll make the motion we receive.
Okay. Second by Judy. All in favor? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Other business. Let's go, Judy. You have something interesting, I believe.
I hope it is. Yes. So I wanted to tell council and anyone who may be watching about 100 Women Who Care Rural Wellington. So this is a program that started in the States several years ago. There's now chapters all over North America. There's one in Guelph, one in Waterloo region, for instance. It's a simple concept, but it's really brilliant and it has an incredible impact. It's basically 100 women giving $100, which makes $10,000. And the group meets 4 times a year, so the total investment per member is $400 a year. And local charities are up $40,000 a year. So each woman nominates a charity, and then 3 charities are chosen by draw at each meeting. And the woman who nominated the charity speaks on behalf of the charity, and her job is to influence and persuade the other members to place their vote for that charity. So the women vote, and the winning charity gets at least $10,000. So 100 members is kind of the minimum you work with. Checks are written, or you can pay online. And then the other 2 names go back in the hat. And the next meeting is done all over again. And the winning charity from last week's meeting, or last 3 months before, they come and they speak on the benefits and the impact that $10,000 has had on their on their group. So currently we have about 70 women who care. We're actively recruiting, and our first meeting is in September in Palmerston. As I sort of said, more than 100 is okay. It's in fact desirable because then the charities get a larger gift. Every member gets a tax-deductible receipt directly from the charity. The acid test for the charity is that they must be able to provide a tax-deductible receipt. You can Google the Guelph 100 Women Who Care site because that's kind of what we're patterning our chapter after. We're also looking for corporate sponsors. All of our meeting spaces have been booked for free for our first year. Innovative Printing has agreed to providing our nomination voting and promo business cards for the first year. And we're planning to have a website. We're still working on that. Once a charity is chosen, they are not considered for a period of 3 years to give more charities a chance. So if anybody's interested in finding out more or signing up, please let me know. Gentlemen, you may have women in your life who are interested. I have recruited both Mary Lou and Jean. There are also Men Who Care chapters. You can Google that too if you'd like. So yeah, if you're a woman who cares or you know a woman who cares and you want to be part of something really big, then get in touch with me. Yes, please.
Thank you. Ron, the other Ron.
Okay. June the 2nd, and I know there's a ton of things going on. June the 2nd is everybody received a card. It says you're invited to the scavenger hunt. That was organized by our Minto Youth Action Council.
Oh, good.
And Quinn has already tested the scavenger hunt, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And at that same day, it's not on the card, that we'll have an official opening of the trails, simply because we have, and now we're going to have information on them. We are a member of the Ontario Trails Association, which means for economic development, the payback is phenomenal. It's like 10 to 1. For every dollar invested, you get $10 back. Because people now are, say, from Belleville, decide they're going to spend this weekend, and they'll do the Elora Trails on Saturday and the Minto Trails on Sunday. So then it gets expanded to bed and breakfasts, restaurants, and all that kind of stuff. So this is the thing we're working on right now. The second thing is we really wanted to do an official opening at that bridge, because it's really kind of a phenomenal piece of construction, and but it just didn't work out for the official opening for June the 2nd. So I think we'll try and plan another day on that. But long and short is that I think we can be really proud of our trails, and there's a lot of work on the Hairston trails because there's 4 different routes in the Hairston trails, and we're talking a lot of different landowners. So that's just one thing that we've got to clear up, and for liability sake and that type of thing. The guys, the public works guys, we've got the new scraper for strictly for the trails, and we hope to add some angel stone this year, part of them, redo part of it. And the other thing is the flail mower, it's really making a nice canopy in the areas. And on the Hairston Trail, it's not going to work so good because you're left with for the first while anyways, kind of ugly looking sticks. But we'll get that figured out. But just kudos to our town staff, because Al Carr, and I'll give him and Greg Mallet are just great guys to have on that, because they do care about the trails. Thank you to the council for the support on that, and also that big grant from the county sure helped a lot. So we're marching on.
What's that? Fortunately, we won't be there in the second.
Mayor and I will not be, and Jean will not be there in the second. So,
So has everybody got where they're going to go? Do we have that figured out?
I haven't heard where.
But just a reminder on the second too, it's the garden festival, fireman's breakfast, garden festival.
Yeah.
Ice cream, the
Cones,
ice cream cone
cones.
unveiling,
So
farmer's market opening.
yeah, so maybe what we can do, Annaline, is maybe we'll send out a note. Here's the 4 or 5 things that we've got there.
Yes,
So then
please.
if
That
you
would
guys,
be great.
anybody's home, can step
you
up
could
to the
divide
plate.
it up.
We can divide it up. Would that work out for everybody?
Because we're not going to be around.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be nice if you could do that for us. And but yeah, a lot of great stuff happening on the second. Good.
I think I'm going to try and do everything.
Yeah.
Are you?
May
Well, so what kind of
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
a couple things.
By lunch.
We've got the Rural Rock on the 26th, Saturday. It's an amazing, lots of neat places to go. So if you get a chance to go, I know we also have the gala that day, and we have a bunch of other things on the go too. But that's great. We have 2 openings on the Friday. One at the Rock, the new people with the Rock, and the other one is at the Holiday Auto Center out at. So those are out there. Everybody knows they've got those.
Where is
I'm
the
aware.
second one?
It's out in the industrial park in Palmerston, just down by Felix Weaver's. It's in half
okay.
they rent half his building.
Oh, okay.
The 29th, we're going to have the flood meeting. I'm going to get Annaline to send out, once we have it, the how the agenda is and how it's laid out. There's going to be the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority is going to be speaking. I'll bring greetings, but the Maitland Valley is going to be speaking, and then our engineer speaking. Dietrich will be there for the municipal drains. Bill's going to be doing an overview of flooding over the years, and then that's all done on presentation base. And then they'll break off into the whole place. Will have different stations. Linda's going to be here, yeah, chief, and the chief. So then they'll break off into different spots so that people can go ask personal questions or any questions they might have on anything that was presented or whatever. And they'll have some boards up and some other things. So I think it'll be a great event for you guys if you want to come. Listen to the presentations and then just try to, if you can, wander around when people are looking, like we do other open houses and that, although nobody comes.
But we wandered.
We wander. But anyways, but be there to be sort of supportive to the groups that are answering questions, or if there's any concerns that you can listen to or whatever. So I just play it by ear. There's no other real rules. And some of you won't be there, I know, because you're heading out beforehand. I'll be there. But anyways, I think it'll be great to have. I think it's been really positive, and everybody will get some good information. And I think that's important. And that's all I have. Anybody else got anything? Good. Moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Anderson, that the Committee of the Whole convenes at a regular council meeting. All in favor? Notice of motion. Sorry, notice of motion.
Palmerston.
Moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Councillor Caldwell, that the Council of the Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the Committee of the Whole. Favor? Okay. This is the first one. Okay, on this one, I just let you know that this is, I did send out a report on this, and you got it just to bring you up to date, because it's been a while in the legal quagmires and whatever, but we finally got to the point where we're doing the bylaw tonight. So moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, that the bylaw number 2018-34 to authorize an agreement with James Albert Gibson regarding the town acquiring land on the 16th line of Minto for the road widening and culvert maintenance be introduced, read first, second, and third time, and passed over Council of Seal Corporation. All in favor? Okay, moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Councillor Caldwell, bylaw number 2018-35 to establish a joint municipal election compliance audit committee. Introduced, read first, second, and third time, passed over Council of Seal Corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Elliott, that the bylaw number 2018-36 to execute a grant agreement with Her Majesty the Queen in the Right of Ontario Municipality Recovery Assistance Program for damage to the municipality's infrastructure be introduced, read first, second, and third time, passed over Council of Seal Corporation. My goodness. All in favor? Jeez. That's a dandy. Moved by Deputy Mayor Falconer, second by Councilor Turkson, the bylaw number 2018-37 to erect the temporary stop signs at Laura Street, Mill Street, East, Park Street, West intersection in Clifford during reconstruction of the Laura Street be introduced, read, first, second, and third time, passed on Council, seal of corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Caldwell, second by Councilor Anderson, the bylaw number 2018-38 to authorize an agreement with the Upper Grand District School Board for after-school program at Palmerston Public School be introduced, read, first, second, and third time, passed on Council, and seal of the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Elliott, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, that the bylaw number 2018-39 to confirm the actions of the Council of the Corporation of Town of Minto respecting a meeting held on May 22nd, 2018 be introduced and read first, second, and third time, passed on Council, and seal of the corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Thurston, second by Councilor Caldwell. The Council of the Town of Minto adjourns meeting, end of call of the mayor. All in favor? Thank you for a good meeting, everybody.